is Rye, and I never read books. On this episode of Why Am I Doing This, I have been getting very much so back into reading, and the people that I have subscribed to, like the booktubers and stuff like that, I've been really interested in and involved in and invested in their channels. One of those is booksandlala. I adore her. She is the reason I'm making this video today. I am subscribed. I watch all of her videos. I love her attitude, her book recommendations, her descriptions, everything. So thank you, Kayla, first of all, to preface this. But yes, welcome. My name is Riley, and I had a goal for 2019 in which I would read 12 books. I read 3 in the first month, and then between March and December, I only read 3 more, which is halfway with 1 month left to go. So now is December 25th, and so far I have read 13 out of 12 books. So the past 2 weeks have been very busy. This video is more so to kick off the 2020 videos and to reflect on the books that I've read in 2019. Okay, so I'm going to start this off with the only book that I did not finish. If I finished it, it would have been 14 out of 12. I tried to read it. I know some people say I got 100, 150, 200 pages in. I just couldn't do it. I legitimately got 3 chapters in, and I was like, cannot do this. So this is The Boy Who Couldn't Die, by William Sleater, I think. When I DNF'd this and I looked at the reviews on Goodreads, I was astonished. Maybe this is one of those books that gets better over time. I'm going to tell you what it's about and tell you why I didn't like it. This is about a boy. How old is he? He's like 16 or something like that. His friend dies in a plane crash, and after his friend dies, he realizes that he himself does not want to die. So he searches out psychics or anyone that can help him become immortal or invincible. So he finds this lady who says, hey, I can grant you invincibility, just let me do my thing. He's like, okay, sure, it's only $50, let's do it. So he does it, he becomes invincible after chapter 1. So he goes home, and this is where I could not. So the writing in this, like I said, I don't know if it gets better, but this, there was no going back. So he's invincible now. He goes home. Let me see if I can find it first of all. So step 1, he grabs a steaming hot pan or casserole dish in which his mother just brought out of the oven. Please remember that. And she goes, Ken, be careful. I just took that out of a 450-degree oven. Can we discuss why that was necessary? Why couldn't you just be like, don't touch that, it's hot, like my parents would do, right? Be like, ow, why would you do that? So he's invincible now, and his mom said, oh no, you just touched something that came out of a 450-degree oven. It's just too much. It's 13 pages in. Why? It was too much. That was chapter 2, and I think I read one more chapter. Not great. Wouldn't recommend it. I think it has like 3-something stars on Goodreads, which is like, do I trust y'all? Y'all really like this book? I don't know. I really don't. It was just a no for me. Absolutely not. Could not do that. The next book in ranking of what I liked and did not like is Not If I Save You First by Allie Carter. The plot of this book I liked. It's about this girl, Maddie, and her best friend, Logan. Logan is the son of the President of the United States, and Maddie is the daughter of the Secret Service agent to the President. So the book starts out, they're 10 years old, they're besties, and something happens. So the plot was that they're best friends, and then something tragic happens, something scarring, and they go their separate ways for about 6 years. They are reunited, and Logan is more excited to see Maddie than Maddie is to see of him, because she said, you didn't reply to my letters that I wrote you. But it was kind of like in the beginning when they first met, I was like, okay, there's tension. She's angry at him. Like there's going to be arguing. And then there wasn't really. She was kind of like, you didn't reply to my letters. I hate you. Like, you're annoying. I don't want to look at you. I lost my best friend. And then the next chapter, or a couple pages later, she was like, I'm trying not to laugh at his jokes. He's so funny. And it's like, have you ever felt hate in your life? Have you ever experienced feelings before? Do you know what that's like? Because if I was that angry to be writing someone, granted they had been separated for 6 years, if I was writing for someone for years, even 1 or 2, and they never replied, and they were supposed to be my best friend, and then I suddenly see them, I would probably not be very happy. Not so much. So that aspect was it was like back and forth, like I hate him, no I don't. It just wasn't great. The plot to this is that after they're reunited, the next day he gets captured by a Russian. So that's fine. And then Maddie goes after them, which in the premise sounds fun. Like, he's captured and she has to go after him. And it's kind of like, since her father's a secret service agent and his father's the president, it's kind of like the same dynamic. Let me see. There is less than 300 pages in this. And there's so much packed into this, and it doesn't really hit you. Like, it's not a good, like, wow, that just happened. It's kind of like, really? That just happened? This really took place only over, like, 2 days. It just was not fleshed out enough from either the character or the plot point. It was lackluster. I would not read it again. This one, and a lot of others, which I'll get to, I am just gonna donate. I buy used books anyway. This book is The Dumb House by John Burnside. It's one of those books that there are dark books and gritty books that are out there, and I read them and I'm not like, wow, I wonder if the author is okay. This book, is the author okay? I'm a little scared. I would not want to meet this man. I thought it was about this man who wanted to see if language was innate. So he gets all these like babies and orphans, and he puts them in a house with deaf and mute nannies and maids and stuff, so he can see if the babies grow up and they speak English, or they speak an innate language, or they make their own, or what happens. I thought the book was about that whole process. The book is about a boy who hears that story about the dumb house from his mother and becomes obsessed with the idea, which still sounds interesting, by the way, but was done so in a way that just made my skin crawl. For some reason, this just did not sit well with me. There is abuse of disabled / mentally not there people. There is non-con / dubcon / it's just real murky waters in that area that I wasn't cool with in the way that it was done. There is child abuse in multiple forms. There's animal abuse. I like the way it was written. It's very blocky and there's a lot of text, but I got through this in 1 day. But the parts that made my skin crawl, I wanted to get through as quickly as possible. I would not recommend this book, even though I'm completely fine with any trigger, any dark subject. I personally just did not like it. I am also giving this book away, and I think I gave it 2 stars as well. The second star is just because I like the way it was written. Otherwise, I would have just given it 1. I could just keep saying that I felt uneasy about this book, but I did. So that's going away. The next book I have is Sweet by Emmy Laybourne. And from the description, you find out that it is about a cruise ship that has celebrities and also normal people that were chosen to promote and to try out, all expenses paid, this new diet sweetener. So it tastes sweet, it tastes good, but it helps you lose weight. So the whole book is about this cruise and about this diet, and that when people start taking this sweetener and they become obsessed with it, and then things get out of hand, and that's kind of thrilling. Like, it was, in that aspect, it was fun. I was like, what lengths will these people go to? And they're on a cruise ship, like, they're all stuck. So the main character, Laurel, I think this is where it started to get to me, because there's a way that you can do, I'm not like other girls, in a way that doesn't make you hate the character. Like, there are people in the world that are just unique and very creative and their own individual, but they don't scream, oh, I wear Converse instead of high heels. You know what I mean? Main character Laurel wears cowboy boots, and she, you know, has freckles, and she's a little bit chubbier, and she plays amateur guitar, and she's so funky and quirky. And those character traits in themselves are not bad, but the way that it was presented, which constantly pointing to the fact that she was different, it was just too much. And it was just kind of like, I didn't want to read about that. I liked the way that it was kind of going, but I felt like too much of the book wasn't exciting enough for it to be like advertised as a book that's going to make you excited. So for that, I didn't like it. The ending was just like, it was supposed to make you want to read more, but it just didn't for me. And so I'm gonna also be giving this one away. This book, I was dead for 13 minutes and now I want to know why. I thought this was gonna be so fun. I heard about this book on social media and I knew what it was about. It's about this girl, Natasha, who ends up dead. She dies for 13 minutes. This is also by Sarah Pinborough, sorry. She dies for 13 minutes and she doesn't know why. She can't remember what happened to her or the days leading up. And when she comes out of her death grip, you know, she's alive, she's in the hospital. When she comes out of it, she wants to know why her friends are acting weird. She wants to know why the police are involved because they think that someone did this to her. She just has no idea. So she enlists the help of her former best friend to track down and figure everything out. The way in which this book was written was just so not great. I first started reading this in March, put it down after a couple chapters, and then picked it up this month because I just did not want to read it. And I finished it in like a day and a half just because I wanted to get through it. I wanted to. The writing, it's not bad. It's not like cheesy or childish. It's just a lot. There are some like texting messages which further the plot. There are some like newspaper articles that further the plot, and like, what's it called? There are diary entries and like things from the police, but it's just, it all together, I felt like it was too much. Like, it wasn't even the fact that it was like in depth. There was just too much and it didn't matter and it was kind of boring, and I would not recommend this. I think I gave this one a 2 or a 3 just because it's just like, it's a lot, you know? And like I said, I have no problem with just reading blocks of text, but this wasn't done so in a way that I really wanted to continue reading it. I'm also donating this one. I have not read reviews on this. I don't know what the rating is. All I know is that a lot of people talked about it, or that it was when it was new and came out. So that's why I got it, but it's not like a page turner or anything. One of Us is Lying. Yes, I will be talking about this one. This one is by Karen McManus. I thought I was going to really enjoy this book because I like thrillers. I like books that obviously have a plot twist that you don't know what's going to happen. I gave this book 3 stars. This book is about a group of students that end up in detention together. One of them dies, and the police say that one of the other students must have killed him. That's the only way it could have happened. So the whole book is trying to figure out which one of the students killed this boy, and they all end up being intertwined in some way with this boy. The plot twist or the end or the truth or whatever was boring to me. I think there was too much detail in each single person's life because it was different perspectives and different lives of each of the students that you were like, okay, so it's not them, so it's not them, so it's not them, and then you're like, but it could be them though, but no. So it was kind of like not really invested because you're like, this is so much information and I'm literally watching these people live their lives and think internal thoughts. So you're just like, oh, clearly I know what's going to happen at the end. And then when it does happen, you're like, okay, great, bye. I gave this 3 stars instead of 2 because I liked the characters. I liked their development, sort of. and the things in their lives that were happening, but the plot itself and like the finding out of who killed this kid was not what drove me to continue reading this. So the last bad book before I get to my favorites, Bad Girls with Perfect Faces by Lynn, is it Weingarten, I hope? This book, again, like One of Us is Lying, I thought I was going to really, really, really love. I gave this book 3 stars. Maybe like 3.5 because it is a little bit better than One of Us is Lying. But this book is about 2 best friends, Sasha and Xavier. Xavier gets back with his ex-girlfriend that Sasha does not like, her name is Ivy. She's just not a great person, and she doesn't want to see her best friend get hurt again. And so Sasha takes it upon herself to pretend to be a boy and lure Ivy away. The end of this book is... I kind of expected it, but I knew that it wasn't what it was made out to seem, so I kind of knew that going in, but I was still very interested. I gave this 3 stars because I felt like I wasn't invested so much. There wasn't necessarily anything wrong with the writing. It was an easy read, and I'm very interested in reading more of her books. For this one, it was not for me. I would recommend this book to people because I think the plot itself was really enjoyable and it was entertaining to read. I would never reread this. I would never think about this. It never moved me, but it certainly kept my attention. But it just wasn't great, and I feel like books that are 4 or 5 stars should be moving or should make me laugh or cry or anything like that. So I will be also giving this book away to donation, and I think someone is really gonna like this. I hope a lot better than me. My first 5-star, I love it, Children of Blood and Bone. I had seen, at the time that I bought this or was interested in this, I had seen one YouTuber talk about it, and it was Sailor J, and she's not even a booktuber, and I love you, girl, and your videos. But this is about a magical realm, fantastical realm, where magic used to be very prevalent. There were people with white hair that practiced magic, and there were people that did not practice magic. So over time, the people that did not practice magic started to get a little weary. They got scared, and one of them, which is now the king in this book, he ended up taking the magic away, getting power over those with magic, and killing those that practice magic. So this book takes place a couple years after the king killed the people practicing magic, and their descendants, the ones with white hair, who either did not ever get to learn how to practice magic or simply just had the magic taken away. It is now about them. And the main girl, she is it's like a chosen one book, but in a sense where it's not presented in that way. It's not like, you're the only one that can save us, and she's like, oh no, okay. It's more like the things that happen in her life kind of push her to that end. It's not in your face cognitive, like she's the only one. It's just the things that kind of snowball, and I really like it. Her mom used to practice magic, and she saw her mom get killed or taken away by the guards that were run by the king. So she ends up, throughout the book, somehow falling into everything to bring magic back and to overthrow the king and to make peace happen. Because in this book, those with magic in their blood, with white hair, which you can't get away from, even if they aren't practicing, they're still subjected to brutality from the guards, and they're subjected to, even though everybody is black in this book, prejudice from those that do not practice magic. And I really enjoyed the author's note at the end, which talks about the brutality against black people, and this book is commentary on that without being like, and a police killed another unarmed black person. It's more like, this king with no magic is scared of the people who have magic in their blood, so he wants to kill them, take their magic away, make sure that they know that he's in charge. So in that sense, it was great. So this book, I saw a lot of reviews that people did not like it because of the cliche nature of some of the things. There is a love interest in here. It is very cliche, but I feel like it takes up such a small portion of the book that it didn't really tear me away. And although I wish maybe it could have been slow burn, the whole book instead of kind of like a little portion that they're like, oh, maybe I like you, it does not take away from the fact that this book is great commentary, and not only that, it is well written. The magic itself is very easy to understand. The world building is great. There's a map in the beginning. I just really feel like this is amazing. And I have the second book that I'm going to start reading January 1st. I'm going to start my year off with this book. And I really enjoy this, and I recommend it to everyone, and I post about it all the time. So please get this. Please. I will not be donating this. This is 5 stars. My second 5-star book is The Reason Why We're Here Today. So Kayla from booksandlala, it was not a video about this book. I'm not sure if she talks about it more in depth later, but she was watching other YouTubers be like, if you like this book, you'll like this one. And We Were Liars by E. Lockhart was one of them. I believe it was that video. And she said she did not like this book. And then I was like, no, no, please. Because I trust her judgment and her opinion. But I loved this book. This book is about a pretentious white girl who comes from a very rich family. And the plot of this is that she suffers a traumatic brain injury. Somehow she doesn't remember, and she gets these massive migraines. So she wants to know what happened to her because she can't remember. So on this, her family's island, because they're rich, summer 15, when she was 15 years old is what they call it. Summer 15 is when this accident happened. And she cannot remember. She ends up going back summer 17. And so the whole book is going back. It's a little bit of when she was younger in the beginning, of course, but it's mostly going back between summer 15 and summer 17, and her trying to piece together the information and why her family's not telling her things and why her cousins won't tell her things. And there's a love interest in it. It's the only brown character. His name is Gat, G-A-T, which, interesting name. He is great, and I love him, and I've never been so invested in a couple or a romance or relationship so much before. But I cried in this. This is the only book to make me cry. And if you hated this book, you're probably like, really? Like, this book, really? But I was just invested in the writing, and I wanted to know what happened to her, but I also really enjoyed her relationship with Gat. And so at the end, when you realize what's happened, is when I started crying. And it broke my heart. And I sent my friend a 10-minute long audio message about this book. But I know why people don't like this, because it is pretentious. The writing style, it would be long sentences and just like 3 words, 2 words, and then long sentences again. So people, I don't think, liked that aspect of it, like this one. Like, you can see it's kind of cut. I really like that. Again, I also like big blocks of text, or text that doesn't really do that. I like everything. I really like the flow of it, and it really emphasized the parts that needed to be emphasized. And I think that's why I was so invested in it, and I could not put it down. Okay, the first 2 books are the first and second in a series. I mean, I would hope so. They're not like the second and fourth randomly, but it's the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So it's about this girl who's really great at profiling people, like how you would in Criminal Minds, or like an actual real life profiler. My degree is actually in criminal psychology / forensics, and any book related to crime or profiling or anything, like any sort of aspect, thriller or detective or whatever, I enjoy. So this is a very easy read. This and the second book in the series, Killer Instincts, got 3 stars. I enjoyed reading it. It was kind of those books where you're like, I know it's for young adults. I can tell it doesn't challenge you. And for some reason, I thought it was more going to be supernatural or magical in some sense, because I thought her ability to read people was in that form, in like a supernatural form. That's how it was, like a gift to her. But it's actually just about real life humans that have these extraordinary abilities. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So they're all a part of this program, and they help the FBI try to figure out crimes and things, which I find really interesting. The only thing that I didn't like about this book, like I said, is that it was not challenging. Some of the things were a little bit cliche or over the top or just a little bit unbelievable. But this one, some of the things, I was just like, really? Especially with my major, I was like, really? but I enjoyed it. I don't really have anything bad to say about it other than it was just kind of an easy read. So that's it. 3 stars for these. I'm going to read the other 2 this next year, I should say, and probably give them 3 stars as well. And the last set of books are these. My angel, Caitlin. She is on YouTube, actually. She is a mortician, and she has 3 books out. 2 of them I gave 3 stars. Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? Will it? It's a book about questions that people have about death or dying or what happens after you die, and it's really fun, and I liked it a lot. The other 3rd star, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This is about her education and her working at a crematory, and it was very interesting, and I learned a lot from it. This one, From Here to Eternity, got 4 stars. This is about death, of course, but it's about death and death practices from other cultures. There are even some states in the US that do things differently or that have different laws, of course. And it was just so interesting to learn about different cultures and different practices without judgment. So this book, it was just so interesting to read about and to learn about different cultures and the death practices and how they feel about it. So this one got 4 stars. And that pretty much rounds out the books that I read in 2019. Once again, this video would not be possible without Kayla from booksandlala, which I will link her channel and link my favorite videos of her. And I will also link other people as I find them that have somehow related to this. So with that, I guess this video is over. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!